Nothing better than a live show, though. So,
Yeah, I got the recording notice.
so, all right. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking a little time to find out a little bit more about the Anne Arundel County Chamber's trip to Italy. Um, we will be heading to Italy on October 7th to the 15th of this year. Um, the cost of the trip is $3,399. It's a 9-day trip. Think of it this way. Well, first, before I jump into it, my name's Mark Kleinschmidt. I'm the president and CEO here at the Anne Arundel Chamber. And what we wanted to do today is just give you an overview of the trip, answer some questions. We are recording this, so if you see this as a recording and have questions, reach out and we'll get those answered as best we can. Um, so again, we are working with a company called Syslink. It's a company that's been around for quite a while, about almost 40 years, headed up by a gentleman by the name of Leo Liu. Leo has worked with over 1,000 chambers of commerce over the years that he's had this program. And the idea was to work with chambers and help use them as their kind of his marketing arm to reach out to businesses or business owners and the general public, folks that might be interested in international travel. And he's put together a package of trips to over 80 countries around the world, and all very well organized, very affordably priced because of the volume travel that he can do. So we've selected to this will be the first time the Anne Arundel Chamber is hosting a international trip to go to Italy. And again, the dates are October 7, October 15. The package costs roughly $3,400. And what we'll do today, I'm going to go through a little PowerPoint and just kind of outline the trip and how it works. And then I'll field any questions as we go that way. So let's kind of start by breaking it down day by day here. Forget my thing. So here we go. So day one, what we'll do is we'll depart from Annapolis. We'll have a central parking location, a place where you can leave your car, or you could have someone drop you off. And what we'll do is we'll have a shuttle bus that'll take us to Dulles. And so that will kind of ease the pain, if you will, in terms of the departure. We can leave directly from Annapolis to Dulles on a shuttle bus. So that way we'll make parking accommodations available here in Annapolis for your car. And the same thing on the way back. We'll have the shuttle bus back from the airport to Annapolis. When we arrive, we'll fly into Rome. And when we arrive there, we'll be met by our tour guide. We'll have one tour guide for the duration of our trip. And what will happen is when we are in Rome, we'll travel around the country vis-a-vis with a bus. And it'll be a larger, I don't know, kind of a luxury type bus. It will seat about 50 folks. We will not have 50 people on the bus. We'll probably have, he runs it so he has about 25 people on the bus. So the idea that there's plenty of room to spread out on the bus, and it's a comfortable situation to travel in. So we'll arrive in Rome, and if you think it this way, it's a 9-day trip, but it's bookended by a travel day on both ends. So think of it as I call it 7 days on the ground in Italy. So when we get there, they'll be in Italy, in Rome for 3 nights, and you can see the hotel that is listed there in red. These are the hotels that were used in a very similar trip that Syslink ran in March. So at this point, he's looking to use the same hotel. So if you like, you can certainly check them out. And I do believe most of them are centrally located in town, so we won't be staying on the edge of the cities that we're in. So day one basically will be a sightseeing opportunity to go around and see some of the highlights that are listed here. I mean, this is the way they have it broken up. For day two, there you can see some of the features or the attractions. I don't want to say the sites that we would be visiting. Day three kind of focuses on on the Vatican and everything that's happening in that piece of Rome and the history there. So that kind of covers those 2 days, day 2, day 3. We move on to day 4. We're still in Rome, and we'll visit some of the more of the ancient areas of Rome, if you will, the Colosseum, um, the Piazza Romana, the Spanish Steps, and the like. During the trip, what will be provided is breakfast and lunch, and dinner is on your own. And so there clearly will be recommendations on where to go dine for dinner. Um, the group, one thing about these trips, I've had opportunity to go on a couple of them, is what's nice about it is that we do travel as a group. And so you have the opportunity to meet a lot of good folks, and you're never kind of alone. So that really is a nice factor in terms of safety and everybody. And you meet some great people, and you have some tremendous shared experiences. So dinners could be on your own with yourself or whoever you're traveling with. And the other piece of the puzzle is a group can get together and make a determination if they want to go to a particular place, and our tour guide will help facilitate making that happen. So a little bit of how the dinners will work. So those would be on your own or your expense for that. That's not included in addition to the wine. Some wine will be included, but in the evenings, those will be some of the monies that you would want to bring to spend. Uh, so day 5, what will happen is a travel day. We'll leave Rome and make our way to Siena. And I tried to enlist here the length. It's about 155 miles to Siena. And again, we'll be traveling in a comfortable tour bus. So we'll get to Siena and we'll basically do a nice tour of that city. It's one of the more classic, smaller towns in Italy. It's where they have you've probably seen it in some of the James Bond movies or some of the other things, the Palio, the horse race, really unique town. So that would be a stop there. And then as we move on from Siena, we'll have a stop for a wine tasting in a winery in Tuscany. And then we will find ourselves day 5 in the evening, arriving in Florence, where we'll spend 2 nights. So the next day we have an opportunity to travel to Pisa. As you can see, it's about 52 miles to Pisa and back. So there is that opportunity to do that. There's a list of the places that you can see in Florence. Little opportunity here, and we can discuss this as the group comes together. Some folks may want to travel on to Pisa. Some folks may want to stay in Florence and do the day in Florence. Leo likes to keep the whole group together. But again, if there's a segment of the travelers who would like to just stay and hang out in Florence and not do Pisa, I think we could certainly accommodate that. So that's our day 6 and 2 nights in Florence. Then we move on from Florence. We'll be traveling to Venice. And so you can see, again, the hotels are listed in red, and I can we'll send out the PowerPoint to y'all. And you can see when we, get to Venice, we'll have the opportunity to travel the canals, go to St. Mark's Basilica, and the Bridge of Sighs. And so we'll have a night in Venice. We'll be staying 1 night in Venice, and then we'll be traveling the next day to Milan, and we'll have the opportunity to explore that city. Just as a side note, both Florence and Milan are I don't want to call them the fashion capitals of the world. They're friends in New York and Paris maybe get mad, but very interesting cities, both of them. A lot of clothing manufacturers and in both those cities. And then the after we stay in Milan, we'll actually depart from Milan. So the kind of the structure of the tour is we wind up near the Milan airport, and we'll be able to head back to Dulles on day 9. So the idea of this trip is a lot of movement, but the idea is to give you the opportunity to experience all the various parts of Italy. So, and it's not even all the parts, but experience quite a bit. 7 cities in 9 days. And again, there is a little bit of traveling, but we've set it up so that it's on a very comfortable bus, working with a group to enjoy the experience together. Um, the setup for the hotel accommodations, it is double occupancy. So, if you're traveling, with a spouse or a friend, we can list that who you want to room with. In the event you're traveling solo on this, you'll be paired up with someone, or if you want to have a single room, that is an upgrade that you can also purchase. So let me talk about one more thing, and then I'll open it up to questions. Um, the registration form, if you haven't seen it, we can certainly get that out to you. And it's pretty straightforward. We're trying to get all the registrations and everything in place by the end of June 30th. So again, the total cost, including airfare, is $3,399. Again, that includes breakfast, lunch, admission to all the various sites, the tour guide, the transportation between all the different cities. And the tour guides are usually great. They have just tremendous knowledge, number one, and personality. So they will actually become one of the group as we're there. So you get a nice opportunity to hear from them, and then they can also, like I said, help direct you to places and things to do in the evenings in Italy. So we're looking for a deposit by the end of June. Obviously, we need a passport for the trip. It need just so you know, the passport needs to be valid for 6 months past the travel date. That's one of the requirements that has been put in place. Given our relationship with Italy, we do not need a visa to travel there. I mentioned the double room occupancy for folks, and if you did want to upgrade to a single room, that would be an additional $800, and you'd have the room to yourself. Um, but overall, like I said, this is a great opportunity if it's been on your bucket list to travel to see Italy. This is a trip that will provide you all of that, and maybe even incent you to go back. You'll find that Italy's got different regions, and all of them are unique, and we'll get a chance to experience quite a few of them on this particular itinerary. So I know I went through a lot there, and I probably missed a number of topics or items, but let me just stop there and kind of throw it open for anybody that might have some questions. Michael,
Hey, thanks for calling on me. Uh,
I
I
had a
guess
feeling you might have a question.
I thought I might have a question. I guess go if you can backspace a couple pages to day one of the trip. Yeah, in this one. So on originally what you were saying at this point was that it would be X number of days sightseeing, bookended by travel days. According to this one, it looks like actually on day one, we're going to be into Rome. So the question is, what time does the local shuttle leave Annapolis? What time do we leave Dulles? And what time do we arrive in Rome?
The answer to that is a TBD, to be determined. What happens is way that the program works, Syslink runs it. They have multiple chambers from around the country that are kind of doing this trip. So they all will depart from Dulles, but he needs to see how many are coming and what time the flight is going to be. So what
Hmm.
we don't know yet is the answer, but we'll know that closer to the travel date, which will probably be in mid to late July. So at that point, we'll know. And it's interesting, and it's a great question because we had a couple folks who are interested, and someone is affiliated with the Naval Academy, and they very much want to go. And Navy has a home game that day, and so they have a responsibility at the Navy home game, and they can't leave until after the Navy game.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
so
usually, like I said, the international flights headed that way usually depart at night, and usually it's an overnight. What I'm familiar with is it would be an overnight flight and arriving in Europe the next day.
That's most likely will be the scenario. So that's what I mean is that travel day will be day one. And then when we, again, depending on what that timing is, there could be some touring on the arrival. Literally, if we get there in the morning, the overnight flight and the hotel, typical, same in the States here, 3 o'clock check-in. So in the event we did arrive in that earlier time frame, there'd be some sightseeing in that morning, and then we'd get to the hotel on
Oh,
day one, depending on how, again, the timing of the flight.
okay, sounds good. That was about the only thing that popped up for me out of all of that.
So, okay. A small group. Paula, that you've joined us. Do you have any questions or things you need some more information about the trip?
Good morning. No, not agree with Michael. All of the overnight, all of the trips to Europe is normally overnight. So we should be good with the naval people because they normally will fly out between 7 and 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and so that day one, again, we could have some opportunity for touring and jump into things on day two. And again, like as soon as we know the flight, and the tough thing is the flights are probably going to be known after the registration ends because he just hasn't booked them up yet. So
Okay. Oh, and I guess one thing that does seem a little different than in the first brochure that we picked up is, I guess, go on to the next slide. And so with this one, I guess so. The Pisa now looks like a day trip during that out of Florence.
correct.
Okay. And then I guess one more slide. So, and then the next one, yeah, Florence to Venice. And I guess we're originally the first one had us stopping in Bologna, but I don't see that in there now, do I?
Right. This what we're seeing here is the final trip that was put together by a group that went in. You can see the dates here, March 8th. They
Ah,
this went in March. So that's what I mean. Some of those final things will be tweaked up. Some of that, I think, the Bologna piece was to um, maximize the time or minimize the time on the bus and moving to and fro. So you can see there's a couple days where there's a little bit longer, um, bus rides here. But again,
yeah.
it's a comfortable coach is the idea. And as you travel on the coach, you obviously get to see the sights in between the cities and the Italian landscape.
Okay, but now I guess at this point it looks like there are 3 days of riding buses. Oh, sorry, 4 days now of riding buses. I
Got
think
Yeah.
originally it was only three out of there.
Well, you've got your trip to from Rome to Siena to Florence. Call it Rome to Florence.
Yeah,
Whoops, let me get back here. Then you go from
Rome to Florence. That's the first one.
right, and then Florence to Venice,
Yeah, that
and then Venice to Milan.
okay. But so that's three. Uh, but do you show a fourth? Oh, it's the Pisa day of a day trip to Pisa.
Right. If you right.
Okay, but so it's on. But intercity, it's only really still 3 days.
Correct. And again, just so we're clear on the Rome, from Rome to Florence, it's a stop in Siena, and that's the longer part of the ride. Rome to Siena about 155 miles, and then getting out and experience the city. So that will take up the bulk of the day, and then in the evening would be the wine tasting, and then on to Florence for that night.
Okay. All right. All looks good. I guess yeah. If you can PDF for the trip. I had been at the chamber website and I saw that you had most of the registration and information up on there. That's been a couple of weeks now, maybe even 2 or 3 weeks. So I'll have to go back up there and check the websites. And first of all, is it on the website already? And if not, can you email the package out to all of us?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
It's up on the website, and we'll email out to all the folks the information and the link to register.
Okay, very good.
And again, and also provide my email if you have questions, and also the contact information for Syslink, so you can get it directly from Leo.
Okay, very good. Now, yeah, I looked at the Syslink website, and Leo seems to get around quite a bit with all the hoi polloi.
He does. He's a very interesting person, and been doing this for over 30 years, and has met a lot of people in the United States and around the world, and has tremendous contacts of folks, and that's why you can put together some of these pretty amazingly priced trips.
No, it's a very good package. That's what caught our eye immediately, and we're still interested.
Great. Well, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Paula. Well,
Yeah, I
I'm
have
sorry,
a
Paula.
quick question. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
I
please.
had my passport is currently at a passport office because I had to do my name change after my divorce, change it back from Sinclair to Bolin. So I haven't received it back as yet, and this has been since February. And so if I do not get it back by June 30th, does that mean I cannot go on the trip?
No, I think you need the passport to travel, not to register.
Right. Well, I'm saying I should get it back on time before the trip, but if I do not get it back by the June 30th registration, because you need the passport biographic page, right? On registration.
No, you just need it. You just need it to travel.
Okay. Oh, I thought because I read in one of the paperwork that you actually needed the biographic page with registration.
Yeah, to answer that, Mark, I think actually what you had said at the kickoff meeting, you just need the exact name on the passport, so
Okay.
that so that your name matches the reservation, and as long as your new passport has your same name, you should be okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank
Is that
you.
right, Mark?
No, I think you're correct. I think it was. I remember that now too. Him stating that, because that's what they need to do to set the ticket, the travel itinerary, and so forth. So. All right. Well, great. Well, thank you again for the interest in taking some time this morning, and we'll get that additional information out to you all, and I hope you'll be able to travel.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right.